Hello and welcome. My name is Kyle FtW and welcome back to another Call of Duty Vanguard video. Today we're back with another best class setup video. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Welgun SMG, which was added into Call of Duty Vanguard about a week ago. This SMG is actually really good, believe it or not. It's actually probably one of the better SMGs in the game. I know I say that in every one of my videos, but that's because it is really good. In all my best class setup videos, I cover weapons that are really good. And honestly, this SMG definitely is very on par with the MP40. It's a really solid SMG, and the class is overall pretty dang good as well. The gameplay in the background is some Paradise domination gameplay, and we do pretty well, so hopefully you guys go to enjoy that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this best class setup. Now, this SMG is pretty interesting. It's not like anything we've seen before. Comparing it to other weapons in this game, I'd probably compare it very closely to the Owen gun with its fire rate and everything like that. It's a little bit of a slower SMG than, you know, weapons like the Tommy gun and the PPSH and the Type 100, but it's still a very strong SMG. Let's go ahead and get into the class. So I'll put the full class on the screen right now of the Welgun so you guys can see all of the attachments before we go in depth about each individual attachment and why I've selected it. So now that is all done, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off here with my very first attachment for the muzzle, I have gone for the M1929 silencer. I pretty much use this on all of my SMG classes. The simple reason for that is that it is, you know, when you're using an SMG, being off the radar is one of the better bonuses. It is a really good thing, because when you're rushing around, being a very fast, aggressive player, if you're showing up on the radar, it is much more difficult to, you know, go on high streaks if you are constantly being shown up on the radar. Because again, people do still use radar in this game, and if they're not using radar, I think the non-silenced fire still shows up on the little compass thing, so enemies will still know where you are. They'll still be able to pick up on it, and just having that silencer makes you just a little bit more, you know, stealthy, which is definitely very important with SMGs, and it does pretty well. This is better than the other silencer in the game, which decreases the damage range. This one does not do that. It just decreases the aim down sight speed and improves the accuracy, which is very awesome for the muzzle. For the barrel, we've gone for the 120mm Gawain short, which improves the fire rate at the cost of accuracy and sprint to fire time speed. I was originally going for the 320mm SA shrouded, which makes the weapon highly accurate and controllable, improves the flinch resistance, reduces scope sway and gun bob, and all of the really positive things. But the problem with this barrel in particular is that the negatives are really heavy. It says aim down sight speed, movement speed, and sprint to fire time speed, but if you look at the sort of bars that indicate the effect on the weapon, the speed is like half of what it normally is, and it just felt really slow. And I just like having this fast fire rate. This is the actual attachment that you get when you get the blueprint of the weapon, and you know, just that improved fire rate means that the weapon will kill faster, and kind of goes with a future attachment here within this video. For the optic, now this is always personal preference for you. I mean, it just really comes down to what you like in particular for, you know, your sights. Me personally, though, I have gone for in this video, I've gone for the NYDAR Model 47 red dot sight. Obviously, this is not one of the best ones. It's still a good sight. You're not going to go wrong with it. But I know a lot of people will probably be using the Slate reflector or the Mark 8 reflector, stuff like that. But again, just using the NYDAR Model 47 just really depends on your playstyle and how you feel. I do like to try and use iron sights when it comes to an SMG, but I just didn't really like any of the iron sights, so I think that the NYDAR is a pretty good sight. But again, that comes up to personal preference and whichever sight you like the best. But again, that's just one that I used here in this video. Next, for the stock, I've gone for a little bit of a different stock than most people will use. You know, I bet a lot of people will use the Gawain skeletal, which improves sprint to fire time, or the S Custom, which improves hip fire accuracy, but I've actually gone for the SA 43mm pack. Now, this one improves the horizontal recoil control by 3 at the cost of and adds +1 to aim down sight speed, and at the cost of movement speed and hip fire accuracy. So I actually didn't use this attachment specifically for the horizontal recoil control. Now, it's nice to have that recoil control, because this class basically has no recoil now, which again we'll continue to cover attachments that have helped that. But the reason that I equipped this particular attachment is the fact that it improves the aim down sight speed by 1. So whenever I'm making a class within Call of Duty Vanguard and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare, which all have the gunsmith, I always try and get about I always try and get each individual thing covered. So I want to get things that help the recoil control. I like to get things that improve the aim down sight speed. I like to get stuff that improves the sprint to fire time speed. And I like to get stuff that improves the aim walking movement speed when it comes to assault rifles. And on SMGs, it's just focusing on the sprint to fire time as well as the aim down sight speed. So I always try and keep one of those attachments there. And this one is the one that I've gone for. There's a whole bunch of other ones here in the game, but this one, in my opinion, is the best because the negatives aren't too bad. So now that is all out of the way. Jumping in here with the Underbarrel, we have ourselves the SMLE pistol grip, which is, in my opinion, the best grip for SMGs. It improves sprint to fire time speed by 2 and improves hip fire accuracy by 1 at the cost of recoil control and accuracy. Really, really good attachment. Really like using this. It just makes every SMG in the game feel better. Probably even makes every AR in the game feel better as well. But me, I just really, really like it. Sprint to fire time speed, so when you're sprinting, because you're always going to be sprinting when you're using an SMG, that's just the way that people play with them and how you should play with them. So you can get your sights up quicker than the ARs most of the time. And also having the hip fire accuracy means that if you do happen to get caught in a really, really sticky situation where you weren't able to get that fire speed going, then you're able to hip fire a little bit more accurately, which is another very, very important thing with SMGs, and is one of the 3 things where it's aim down sight speed, where it's aim walking movement speed for assault rifles. Hip fire accuracy is the one thing that I try and incorporate into the class for SMGs, because when you're rushing and you're playing very, very aggressive, there will be times where you're going to have to hip fire, and that's just going to come in very, very usefully. Now for the attachment that basically makes this class, combined with the barrel that we used to make this class really crazy good, and is actually a combination I used in my previous video, which when I was using the Owen gun, which also got me really good gameplay. I've gone for the 7.62 Gorenko 48 round mags, which improves recoil control and accuracy by 5, improves fire rate by 2, improves movement speed by 1, improves aim down sight speed by 1, at the cost of -2 to bullet velocity and range, -1 to bullet penetration, and -1 to damage. Now this attachment usually seems pretty bad. Whenever I use it in this game, it always doesn't really work out so well for a while, but combining this attachment with the fire rate bonus attachments as well, this SMG becomes really, really, really good. It becomes a very, very fast firing weapon with basically no recoil, which is crazy, which means it kills a lot faster than you would think. Now, you know, a lot of people would probably use the 45, 48 round mags, which improve bullet velocity and range by 2, improve bullet damage or bullet penetration by 1, and improve damage by 1, but at the negatives of everything that we just mentioned. But when I used this attachment, this weapon just felt really, really good. It felt like it killed really, really fast, and I highly, highly recommend giving this attachment a go. But again, if you don't really like the idea of the 7.62 Gorenko, then I would try the 45 or the just 64 round mags, but of course that comes up to you. But again, this class is all subjective, but I just recommend this highly, and I would definitely give this class a go before you go ahead and just count this ammo out, because as you guys can see from the gameplay, this weapon actually kills very, very fast, and you don't really even notice that the damage is reduced by 1 because of that fast fire rate. It basically counters the damage, which seems like it wouldn't, but it does. It kills very, very fast. Next, for the ammo type, I've gone for Lengthened, which improves bullet velocity by 3. So we've already negated one of the effects of the ammo, which was the negative to bullet velocity. We've just upped that by 3, which means now this weapon has technically a +1 in the bullet velocity category. Now, there's a whole bunch of other attachments that you could use. I've tried Incendiary on SMGs, and it seems useful, but it just doesn't really work that well. It actually kind of distracts me, believe it or not. So Lengthen is always just the attachment that I use. It just makes the weapons better. No matter what weapon class you're using, SMGs, ARs, it just makes it better altogether. Next, for the rear grip, I've gone for the Pine Tar grip, which improves recoil control by 2 and improves hip fire accuracy by 1 at the cost of -1 to aim down sight speed. Just makes the weapon have a little bit less recoil, makes the hip fire a little bit better, because of course some of the attachments did hurt the hip fire accuracy a little bit. So now by having it increased by 1 again, we are now in the green for every single thing. We're in the green for aim down sight speed, we're in the green for recoil, and we're in the green for hip fire accuracy and sprint to fire time, which is a really, really good thing. And again, this class just feels really, really strong. For the proficiency, I have gone for Fleet, which improves weapon swap quickness and movement speed +1. I've tried Frenzy, which allows health regeneration after kills. I've tried Acrobatic, but Fleet is actually is my favorite, proficiency for this weapon. This one does not have sleight of hand, which is one that I would probably use instead, but fleet feels really good. I like how speedy this weapon feels by having that improved 1 to movement speed. Weapon swaps quickness can be useful when you're using SMG if you run out of ammo with this thing, because again, it is going to take a little bit longer to kill because of that ammo type and that reduced 1 damage. So if you run out of ammo, you can pull out your secondary weapon quicker. And I mean, it's, you know, all of them are pretty good. The only one that's not really that good is Panic, which improves accuracy and recoil control after weapon swap, but everything else is pretty good, so you can't really go wrong with any of them. Personally, with this class though, I've gone for Fleet because I like how fast this weapon is and how fast it feels. And then last but not least, for my final attachment, I've gone for Fully Loaded in my kit. Pretty much use this one on all of my classes. I just really don't see any reason to use anything else. I mean, if I'm ranking up the weapon, Surplus would be good, but because this weapon is already maxed out, Fully Loaded is what I've gone with, because again, you run out of ammo pretty quickly with this weapon because it has, again, a very fast fire rate. Having Fully Loaded just makes it so that you don't run out of ammo for a very, very long time. And if you do happen to run out of ammo, then you probably went on a very, very crazy streak. Hint, hint to the gameplay. And yeah, so I just really, really like Fully Loaded. I use this on everything, and mostly I use Fully Loaded because most of these kits aren't really that useful. I mean, none of them I really use that much. Again, Surplus is what I use when I'm ranking up the weapon, but other than that, just not really, none of these are really good except for Fully Loaded in my opinion. So that is a look at the Welgun SMG. It's a very, very good class. I highly recommend giving it a go. Obviously, you guys can tweak things to your liking, but overall, I have had nothing but success with this class. I think the lowest gameplay I've gotten was a little bit over a 1 KD, which was a gameplay on ship or on dome, where I also got like 80 kills to go with those quite a few deaths, and my best gameplay by far is like a 5 or 6 KD gameplay with this weapon. So it's a really, really good class, and I highly, highly recommend giving it a go. Now for the secondary, I've gone for the machine pistol. I'm not going to go too in depth about the attachments because they don't really matter, and at the end of the day, the secondary is up to you. You could use a launcher if you want, melee weapon if you want to, other pistols, but just really briefly, I've used the machine pistol, and I've gone for the F8 stabilizer, the lightweight trigger, the NYDAR Model 7 sight, and then finally the tight grip for the attachments. But again, I don't really use this too much. Only if I run out of ammo, only if I get into a really sticky situation do I use this, because again, secondaries aren't really the most practical thing in this game. They're only useful when you need them, which is why they're called secondaries. So that's just what I've gone for with the machine pistol, but again, it's really up to you. You can use really anything that you wish. Now for the perks, pretty much the exact same as my last best class setup video. I've gone for Cold-Blooded in my perk 1. So just so that I can stay off the radar, stay away from AI-controlled kill streaks, and most importantly, stay away from high alert. Because again, if I'm using an SMG and I'm rushing pretty heavily, and an enemy sees me from far away, and I'm trying to do a flanking route, they're going to pick up on me. They're going to turn around, kill me, and then that's the end of my streak and everything like that. So I just really, really like Cold-Blooded. They did nerf high alert a little bit here in the game to make it so that you don't make it so that the little yellow flash on your screen has a little bit of a delay to it. But again, I just still really like Cold-Blooded. I like how I'm not highlighted on streaks, I'm not highlighted on enemies, and I just really like Cold-Blooded. I think it's a very, very, very strong perk in this game. You could also use Ghost if you wish. Ghost is also a very, very good option. Dauntless is a very good option. There's a whole bunch of really, really good perks in the perk 1, but me, Cold-Blooded is just my favorite. I like it the best, and it overall helps me get better gameplays within Call of Duty Vanguard because of how good High Alert is. For my perk 2, again, same thing as my best class setup video. I have gone for Radar. Basically, again, it's the same thing as the classic Radar from previous Call of Duty games where an enemy shoots an unsilenced weapon, they'll show up. Just really, really like it. There's pretty much not much else to say about it. It's just a great perk. Yes, I could use High Alert. Yes, I could use Piercing Vision. But yes, I could use Intuition even. But Radar is just my favorite perk too. Seeing enemies on the radar who are shooting an unsilenced weapon is just really nice. Basically brings back the classic Call of Duty sort of, mental gameplay, muscle memory, just looking up at that mini-map, looking for red dots. Just really like Radar. It's one of the best perks in the perk 2 in my opinion, and I really, really like it. That's pretty much why I use it, just to get that old mini-map back. And then last but not least, for my final perk, I've gone for Lightweight. Again, this has not changed. I kid you not, day 1 of Call of Duty Vanguard, I put Lightweight on my class, and I have not switched it since. I just love Lightweight. I love how fast you are. I love everything about it, and combining Lightweight with the Fleet proficiency on this weapon, you are very, very speedy, and it just feels great. it feels sort of like Black Ops 2 speed when you use this class. And I just love lightweight. I use it on all my classes, AR, SMG, LMG, doesn't really matter at all. I will always have lightweight because I just love how fast you are. Scavenger would be a great perk in this game if fully loaded wasn't in there, but because fully loaded is a proficiency and I never really have to worry about running out of ammo, or a kit I should say, I don't really bother with Scavenger. Overkill is also really good. But again, that's not the point of this class. This class is supposed to focus on the SMG itself. Double time is also pretty good, but again, when it comes to the perk 3s, lightweight, in my opinion, is the best. Obviously, Scavenger, as I said earlier, just like 2 seconds ago, would probably be the best perk in the game if fully loaded wasn't here, but because it is, Scavenger is pretty much useless. So those are all of the perks, and then last but not least, for my lethal and tactical, these are the exact same as my last best class edit video. I've gone for the Gammon Bomb and the Stim. They're just the best. Love the Stim for obvious reasons. It refills my double sprint, and it just allows me to be a very, very aggressive player, which you guys know. I may die a lot in Call of Duty, but one of my favorite things about my entire playstyle, and one of the things that just I really like about it, is that with how aggressive I play, you know, having Stim is just incredibly useful for me because I may die a lot, but because I am so aggressive, I end up getting a lot of kills, and if it works really, really well, where my aggressive playstyle actually does well and works, I can have incredibly fun gameplays. And my gameplay from earlier this week with the Owen gun was an example of that, where I'm just playing super, super aggressive, getting a ton of kills, and overall having a really, really good time. And Stim honestly allows me to do that, because if I wasn't using Stim, I was using the stun grenade or something like that, every single time I would get damaged, I would have to wait for my health to recover before playing aggressive again, and that just can really slow down the gameplay. But having Stim, I can get wounded in a gunfight, I can easily get myself back up to full health, and get right back into the action and continue getting lots and lots of kills. The Gammon Bomb, when it comes to the lethals in this game, that's really up to you. I just use the Gammon Bomb because it can be pretty useful. If you get a couple of shots into a guy, don't know where they are, you can just throw your Gammon Bomb in their general direction and they'll get that kill. Frag Grenade is also pretty good. The Incendiary Grenade is really good as well. Again, as far as the lethals go, you can't really go wrong, but I just like the Gammon Bomb, just really for no reason, just of the fact that I just like it. That's really the only reason that it's on this class. I mean, I don't really use them too much, but they do come in handy when you need them. And that's pretty much it for this best class setup video. For my field upgrades, this can be anything that you want, but again, me personally, I've gone for the supply box just because I just haven't switched it out. When I was going for, you know, the launchers, and I'm still going for the launchers for atomic camo, it's just nice to be able to refill that ammo if you want to. I mean, Dead Drop is a really good one. You know, Dead Silence is a really good one as well, and you can really use anything you want. Armor could actually be really useful for an SMG class, but again, I've just gone for the supply box. I don't really change my field upgrades too much in this game, but again, you guys can use whatever you want for this. Dead Silence, if I were to, you know, focus just on the field upgrade for this specific class, I'd probably either use Dead Silence, Jammer, or the armor plates, because having an SMG, or even Dead Drop, because having an SMG, you know, being silent, taking those, basically having a sort of like ghost perk as well, same, you know, because we're not using ghost with this class, having Dead Silence as your ghost could be really, really useful. Armor plates, just so that you can take a couple more shots. Dead Drop, because you're going to be dying a lot with an SMG, you can be able to get your kill streaks faster. So those are probably the ones that I would recommend, but again, that's all up to you. Again, me personally, I've just used the supply box. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this full best class setup video with the brand new Welgun SMG. Definitely try this class out. I'm sure you guys will do well. I'm sure you guys will get good gameplays with it. It does take a little bit of accuracy, of course. You have to make sure you land your shots because of that ammo type, but it just feels like a really strong class, and I just love using this SMG. It's one of my favorite SMGs in the game, actually, believe it or not. It was like love at first sight. My blueprint review video using this weapon, I automatically started to do really, really well with it, and it is just still really, really good. Adding, you know, the really good attachments to it have made it even better. And again, highly recommend giving this class a go. You don't really see this SMG anymore, at least in my lobbies, and it's a shame because this is actually a very underrated SMG right now, and I highly recommend giving this class a go. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, like, rate, is appreciated. If you want to check out any of my other previous best class setup videos from Call of Duty Vanguard, you can feel free to check those out down below in the description, as well as my previous video episode will be at the end of the video as well. And I'll see you guys all on another Call of Duty Vanguard video very, very soon.